Welcome back to another edition of NBA Throwbacks with your hosts, Wong and Krook.
Today we'll be discussing which teams are better, the 2008 Celtics or the 2013 Miami Heat. So personally, I think the 2013 Miami Heat are the better team because first off, they have LeBron James. You can't stop LeBron James. 2013, he was virtually unstoppable. And they also had a very healthy Dwayne Wade at shooting guard, who was a great player that year. He made a lot of points and he scored a lot. He rebounded, he assisted. He was an all-around great player for the Heat.
The Miami Heat assembled a magnificent team in the 2013 season, but they were not as good as the team assembled in 2008 by the Boston Celtics. The Celtics 2008 roster consisted of Tony Allen, Ray Allen, P.J. Brown, Sam Cassell, Glenn Davis, Kevin Garnett, Eddie House, Andrew Perkins, Paul Pierce, Scott Pollard, James Posey, Leon Poe, Gabe Pruitt, Rajon Rondo, Ryan Scalabrine. The Celtics had a tremendous and successful year. They had made the postseason for the first time in 2 years and had placed first in their division in the conference with an NBA best 66-16 record with a .805 winning percentage. The Celtics ended up winning the NBA Finals. The Celtics will go down as one of the best teams ever to play basketball. They were a dominant force that played hard in the paint and never gave up. Although the Celtics were an incredible team, they had great players throughout their roster, but they also had legends. For example, they had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, who will all be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame one day. It's very rare that you have three Hall of Fame caliber players playing on the same team. They also had an electrifying four-time All-Star and four-time NBA All-Defensive Team member, Rajon Rondo. Not to mention, they also had an excellent coach in Doc Rivers, who has outstanding knowledge of basketball and is also a great encourager and leader to his team. Overall, this is a great team. They are a slower-paced team, but they play hard in the paint. They took no crap from anybody and were not afraid to get scrapped. In other words, they did whatever it took to win. The team could also shoot and had sharp shooters. They had a great coaching staff in general. The Celtics combination with their players and their fans was practically unstoppable. The 2013 Miami Heat were very talented and skilled, but I believe the Celtics had just as much talent and had more toughness and grit than the Heat, and that is why I believe they are a better throwback championship team.
See, you mentioned the record. The Heat had the same exact record, 66-16. But the Heat, see, they had their roster. LeBron James, who was a four-time NBA MVP. Drafted out of high school, first year in the NBA, he had 21 points per game at 18 years old. 2008, he carried his team to the Eastern Conference Finals versus the 08 Celtics. He was the only person on the team that was good. No one else on the team was good. He was the only person, and he carried his whole team to the championship of the Eastern Conference, where they fell to the Celtics. But the Heat in 2013, LeBron was accompanied by Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and he also had Ray Allen, as did the Celtics in 08. But he also had a great shooter, Shane Battier, who could knock down threes when needed. And this, I think, was LeBron's best year, as he averaged 40% shooting from the three-point line and 50% overall shooting from the field. He averaged about 6.5 assists and 27 points per game and about 8 rebounds. So he was a great basketball player that year. And I think the reason they won, they had LeBron and a healthy Dwayne Wade, because the year after Dwayne Wade got injured and he was not very healthy when they lost to the San Antonio Spurs. So they also had Mike Miller, Udonis Haslem, Norris Cole, Mario Chalmers, Rashard Lewis, and James Jones. And those players were great role players who would not really let you down when you put them in. And I think Chris Bosh, this was his closest year when he joined the Heat to his Toronto Raptors years. This is his best year in comparison to his Toronto Raptors. years and his other 3 years with the Heat. Because he was their leading rebounder, and he did still score 17, 18 points per game, which was very good. And the Heat, where they were first in their division, no one could really stop them. So most people thought they were automatic to go to the finals, which they did. That's why I think they were the better team.
Although many things of what you said about the Heat were correct, the thing about the Celtics is that they had 4 players: Rondo, Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett, all playing well. But they weren't just playing well, they were in their primes, all in the same year, their best years ever. In other words, it would be the Miami Heat having their 4 best players having the best years of their career all in 1 year. I believe with all that force, dominance, and acceleration, and just straight athleticism, the Celtics are the better team.
See, you talked about their prime. LeBron that was his prime. Dwayne Wade, that wasn't his prime, but that was pretty close to his prime. And Chris Bosh was, as I said earlier, it was close reference to his Toronto Raptors when he was in his prime. But Ray Allen was about 37 years old. He was old, but he got the job done when needed, as seen in Game 6 versus the Spurs, where he hit the last shot to put it into overtime. So he never let them down. As a 6-man bench player, he still scored more than Mario Chalmers, who was the starting point guard. He still scored more points and got the same amount of assists. So he was a great asset to the team. They also had Mike Miller. That year was his last year of shooting relatively good. He shot pretty decent from the field, hit threes when needed, and that's why he was a great asset for their team.
In conclusion of our video, both teams were considered legendary teams, and they both won championships. Both Krook and Wong and many other people in the world have their opinion of who the better team is. But one thing is certain, they're both amazing teams that won the championship.
So that is our final finishing episode of NBA Throwbacks with Wong and Krook.
Celtics for life.
Heat.